Oh, I just have to speak louder.
Yep. Okay. Well, we
Okay.
just so you know, I wasn't criticizing, just so you know.
No. I didn't
Oh,
take it like criticism.
okay, I started the recording. Stan, you can kind of tell us what's going on here, and then.
All right, this is the standard day and time for the TechSIG meeting, the fourth Tuesday, and we're starting it off roughly at 7 o'clock. I don't have an awful lot myself. I've been doing stuff, crazy stuff. I told Mike that I guess it was 2 or 3 days ago they said there was supposed to be, first they said 48 and then it was 68-mile-an-hour winds. So our driveway, we got a lot of trees. I moved it out onto the street, across the street where there's nothing overhead. And in doing so, I apparently, on Linda's car, the 93 Toyota, I managed to hit the curb or something, and I snapped off the damn air, the filler vent on the tire. So next morning, somebody called me and said, hey, you know your tire is flat. So he was offering to use his compressor to blow it up. He has an electric compressor. And of course, we got out there and we saw that the vent wasn't there, the filler vent. So I had to jack it up, take the tire off. Most places like Tire Kingdom, they wanted 20 bucks to do it, but there was a place out in the Popular I've used, and it was 10 bucks. So I had to. It took literally 3 minutes for him to do it. Graham, took it off the wheel and put it back on, and then I had to come back, hook it back up, and then that's all taken care of. Anyway, let's start. Who would like to be first here? Gary, you got much stuff, or Ken? Sean?
I'll start. I'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
I showed you just a bit ago the fact that I can change the screen. I can actually zoom in, zoom out with it, and move things around too, just to show you. I can zoom in, move that around, zoom out, move me around a little bit. I can move this around. So I can do a lot with it as well. I can set up different presets and so on. That's using Manycam, MANYCAM.com. I went to a trade show about a year ago, and they had a lifetime subscription to it. It's normally about, I think, 40 bucks a year, and it was $89 for a lifetime subscription. So I said, I'll play with it, and so I went ahead and bit, and I hadn't used it. And so I started using it this week, and so that's what it does. The other thing I'd like to do, I'm going to share my screen for, yeah.
Is that Manycam, is that a physical device?
No, it's actually just software.
Huh.
That's what I'm using too, Sean. Same thing.
Huh.
That's what reminded me about it, was when you were using it the other day.
Yeah, I still haven't messed with Wirecam yet for a while.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and share my, let's see, I want to do this. I'm going to share my screen. I don't need this. And I've talked with you and this, or several people in this group, or with this group, about the satellite, the low Earth orbit satellite networks that are coming. Elon Musk has got one, Jeff Bezos has one, and there was a third one which just recently filed for bankruptcy. So there's 3 of them out there. And this past week there was some news about it, and I just put together just a really short few slides. So let me just share these with you. SpaceX launched another 60 satellite, StarLink satellites this past Wednesday. They were able to retrieve the rocket, and this is a picture of the rocket coming back down to a ship they have out at sea, and it actually lands on that. So they're able to reuse the rockets that they send up over and over again, which saves them a lot of money. Here's what it looks like at liftoff, and the payload is at the top, and what that has is 60 Starlink internet satellites inside of it. This is what it looks like when it releases the satellites. You're seeing 2 of them. The flight was the 7th operational StarLink mission, bringing the total number of satellite launched for the broadband network to 422. He's going to take out of orbit 2 of them, the first 2 that he put up as tests. So he's going to have the 420. Musk also said that he needs at least 400 before they can begin to roll out minimal internet coverage. So he's reached that, and it requires 800 to provide a moderate coverage. And these next couple of months, he's got, I know, at least 2 more going up, so there'll be another 120. That'll bring him up to 520. I'm sure he'll very quickly get it up to the 800. This is what it looks like once it releases the satellites, and they weigh about 500 pounds. They're about the size of a table, and then they release the antenna. And you'll see in the background, you'll see another one, and it's releasing, and they're all like in a row, and they all talk to each other and send the signals at a height of about 230 to 300 miles up. So it's really a low orbit. Elon Musk took to Twitter to answer some of the questions about SpaceX StarLink broadband service. And what he's saying is that private beta is going to start in about 3 months and a public beta in about 6 months. And probably the private beta is going to be Tesla and SpaceX employees. And then when they do the public beta in about 6 months, hopefully some of us can get involved in that as well. How much will internet service cost through SpaceX? Actually, no one is saying. Musk says it's going to be a low cost, and he wants to make it a competitive option. So he's going to try to keep the costs down. How fast will it be? He's not saying, but he says we're targeting latency below 20 milliseconds. I don't have no clue what that means, whether that's fast or slow, but he said so somebody could play a fast, responsive video game at a competitive level, and that's just the threshold for the latency. So to me, that sounds like it's going to be pretty fast. Gary, you're shaking your head. Have you some knowledge on that?
No, but if they're gaming using satellites 300 miles out in space, that's pretty awesome.
I worked on that, believe it or not. I worked on that 20 years ago on what we call the magic carpet service for sequential warfare training between the 3 services. And what we were able to do, or what we were looking to do, the latency is how long it takes to get from one place to another. And if you use like scan television, it's probably arcane, but it's only 533 lines. With digital, it's much more dense. So the idea was to be able to hook a simulator in a warfare situation in, say, Florida, to a simulator in warfare situation in California, and be able to take a comparative attack. Now, the internet has already done it, but it hasn't done it to the level the military wants. If you go, Digital Combat Simulator is one of the ones you can look at, and it's pretty accurate. I've actually seen 2 F-18 pilots actually fly from separate places, fly together, and use the F-18 in the software. Pretty good.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, and it's after 6.
Would you mute yourself, please?
I'm at a meeting, a computer meeting.
Okay, so anyway, I want it now, and that's the end of my little slideshow, and I'll stop the share.
You forgot. Okay, so you're not going to eat?
Welcome, Tom. We got you in anyway. So,
I saw something in the paper, I think, that said for really best results, they had to have 1,500 up. So,
well, they're going to be limited on where it's going to be. I guess in the beginning, it's probably going to be in the Northeast, which will be the Northeast or Southeast Canada and Northeast U.S. will probably be the first area. And once they get some more satellites, it'll include us. But probably by sometime next year, we should be able to get it. Now, several people have asked me, am I going to have some kind of a different receiver to get it, and no one has said anything about that. But I did see, I was reading about something called 6G that the government just released some bandwidth for another for Wi-Fi on the ground, and that's going to require a different router and a different a chip in whatever device you're having. So 5G is going to require something new, and 6G is going to require something new, and this is all going to probably require something new. So our equipment's we're going to have to buy new phones, new computers, and new routers, and all that stuff in the next few years. So obsolescence is built in, but it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to this satellite thing, because it really shuts out some of these companies that have been just gouging the heck out of us. And it's going to be fast. It should be fast if it works. We don't know.
Well, it should also help the people in rural areas.
Oh, absolutely. All over the world.
Yes.
Wonder how the Chinese will block that one.
Did you watch that space launch? Last week it was on YouTube. They showed the whole thing and the landing of the booster. That video presentation on YouTube of that last launch, it was like a Hollywood film. It couldn't have been any more perfect.
And they did it early. It was scheduled at a later date, but the weather was so good they decided to go early with it. And that's unusual too.
If you're interested in that sort of thing, there's a film on there about the heavy lift system that they tested, and it lands 2 back at the Cape and 1 out on a ship out in the ocean, and it's to carry, I think, 7 astronauts into space. It's I forget the name. It's like Falcon 9, but it's another name.
It is Falcon 9, I think.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're able to retrieve these the rockets now and reuse them, which is a tremendous savings. And the precision of them landing on a ship at sea, and it's upright, and it's just, to me, is amazing.
Rocket science.
Yep.
You got to admit, it'd be kind of funny if if it landed perfectly and everybody cheered, and then there was a wave and it knocked the thing over.
Yeah. You're sick, Sean.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, that's what I got for now, anyway.
Okay, who's next?
Tom's eating, so he's not going to talk.
Yeah, my wife just brought supper out to me.
Yeah, we're all waiting for our dish.
I will observe that we now have 11 participants.
There you go.
Okay, right.
So we've exceeded Hangouts.
Yeah.
I was just looking to see who was supposed to be on that, and Paul, Sean, me, Ted Goodwin. Don't see him yet.
He probably didn't see the email. I don't think he reads it every day.
Who's NMCF1000 at Gmail?
I have no clue.
That's
Anybody?
me.
Oh, who said me?
1003, NMCF 1003.
Yes.
That's me.
And who is that?
Dick Vogel.
Well, you're also on there as Dick Vogel, so you have 2.
I do. Interesting.
Yeah. You signed in twice. Once as Dick Vogel and once as that NMCF 1000. Okay.
Oh, weird.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, anyway, we're here.
Right. And it's funny that Mike didn't realize that his major game that he spends a lot of time on had something really serious going on tonight, that he's got some money and effort tied into it, and starting at 8, so he decided he would pass. He will send out some more stuff on why he thought that the hangout was interesting, and when he first started to look into it, he was not aware that it had a limit of 10. So it wasn't until Hewie brought that up, I think, just a few days ago, that caused that issue. And but okay, let's. I'll give Ted a call in the meantime and see if
Mute your mic when you do that.
I can do that. And who's next? Gary or Sean, you got anything?
I can go next.
Okay.
I recently purchased actually I didn't recently purchase a 3D printer. I bought it back in November and it finally came. And I've been printing things with a big help to Gary, who's been fantastic. Because I was really having some problems with this thing. But it turns out, they're really very finicky, and you got to get the temperature, the heat just right, and things don't always stick to the heat plate, so you have to keep that clean. And I found that a can of acetone is good to use, so I put some of that on there on a paper towel and wiped that down, and that really helped. One of the things that I printed was this is a holder for a Eko Spot. So you can mount this to the wall, and then the Eko Spot can sit on here. And an Eko Spot is one of those Amazon items. Looks like a clock. It's round, almost like a cue ball with a piece of it shaved off, and that's a screen. And we keep one of these in our bathroom. And I mounted it to the wall, and this is actually one with an angle, as you can see. I don't know what angle that is. Gary, you know what angle that would be? That's probably about 80 degrees, something like that.
More than that. No, you're looking like 110 or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking 90 would be this, right?
Yeah.
So
it's
okay, yeah.
greater.
So I'm thinking from this. Okay, yeah. So 110 probably. Anyway, I'm thinking about adding this so I can kind of give it a little bit of an angle. This is something I downloaded off of thingiverse.com. They've got lots of really cool prints that people have uploaded, and you can download it for free. And they actually, whoever made this actually put Eko right here, which wasn't necessary, but what the hell, pretty cool. I'm actually sitting next to the printer, and this is it here. It's actually doing a print right now, which I'll show you. I also printed this. This is a stand. Well, this is not the stand. This is one of those Wise cams that is about 25 or 25 bucks, I think, on the web.
Yep.
And then this stand I printed. This is made to mount right on the printer, so I can keep an eye on what's printing. And it fits in there perfectly. I can keep an eye on what's printing when I leave the room. So I can go downstairs and see what's going on. If there's a problem, I can take action. Cool. So I'm very happy with it. I found some really interesting things to print, and I'm pretty excited about it. So
You don't have a third arm yet, though, right?
not yet, but I'm working on it. I think for now that's probably technology related. Well, I did upgrade my headlights. It's technology. I got a new car back in around the same time that Ken did. We got Hondas. I got a Honda CRV, and I got that back in August. And I just replaced all the headlights and brights and fog lights with LED lights. And they're bright enough now. They make them and sell them I got them on Amazon. I'm part of a Honda CRV group on Facebook, and there was people going back and forth on which is better and which is not. And I bought some that do not have a fan, so they're just solid state. They have big heat. They have big heat dissipators on them, and they fit perfectly. They're bright and nice. And anyway, that's the car technology. I just installed that. So I think that's about it for me.
Hey, Sean?
Yeah.
I got an Odyssey. Like I say, about the same time. I got mine in June. I didn't know that it didn't have LED lights on it.
Yours
my
did.
wife.
Did you get the touring? Did you get the touring?
Yeah.
Yeah, yours probably does have LEDs. I got the EXL, which is one step down from that, and it did not have LEDs.
Do yours have lenses? Lenses on them?
It has a refractor. It has a refractor type lens. Does yours have that?
Yeah, my wife's Lincoln does.
Okay. Yeah, so you might be able to. You may be able to put LEDs in those. It's a
Okay,
brighter white light.
On the Lincolns, they are.
Are they?
Yeah, they already are.
Yeah. So I like them. They're very responsive. Gets people attention if you flash them at somebody. You know, when it's dark, the sight is the best. So I'm happy with it.
I know it's probably not of interest to anybody else, but a quick question. How do you like your CRG steering itself?
I like the feature. I wish it was way more aggressive, because I find that even if the road just gradually turns, it will very gradual turn. It'll stay in the lane. But if it's any kind of a more than that, it will actually go over the line and just shake the wheel, and I have to take over. So I'm not.
Mine doesn't quite do that, but it does get too close to the line like that.
Yeah. The thing that I really love is the cruise control that keeps the distance. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Does yours work all the way down to 0?
It does. It goes to 0, stops, and waits for 3 seconds before putting it where I have to activate it again.
Yeah.
And I'll use. I'm in downtown Orlando, and I have to drive on these side streets. And if I'm behind somebody, I hit the cruise control, and I just let the car do its own thing.
Yeah,
I've been a big fan of cruise control from day one, way back when I started driving, I've ever since. The car has to have cruise control.
They used to have a thing back in the years. I'm so old, I remember, called a throttle.
Uh-huh.
And my 1941 Plymouth, it was a knob you pulled out.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just the same as pushing the accelerator.
I have a friend who had an old Volkswagen Beetle. The throttle cable broke on that, so he got some string and ran it through the gutter channel on it back to the engine, and he could pull on it to get it to go. And he discovered that if he ran it through the vent window, he could just control it. And if he closed the vent window, he had cruise control.
Amazing.
So that's all I got. Is just the printer is really the newest thing that I've been really fascinated by.
I'll go next. Y'all familiar with these drawers for storage cabinets?
Mm-hmm.
You know, for your nuts and bolts and screws and your washers. Well, you know, they get cracked after a while, and sometimes they get lost. So I measured one, and I 3D printed it. So I made a tray, a replacement tray, but I put 2 notches on it. And then I made these little handles, and they'll slide right onto the floor. Okay. So and then I made another one with a little deeper front on it, so I can mark the screws, what screw size it is, and then I have a nice grippy handle on it. So I don't know what the cost is. They're like 25 cents each to make, and you know, it's just neat that you can replace stuff like that. You know, you don't have to order it; you just make it. So anyway, that's 3D printing, and then there's hand 3D printing. So they have these things, and I made this little spool holder for it, and you just you know, I needed a pencil holder to hold my pencil, so I made one. There's my pencil holder.
So Gary, explain how that works. I see we can see the end result. Okay. But how did you get from point 0 to point Z?
Well, there's you kind of learn how to do it when you first start off using these things. When you turn it on, you plug it in, of course, to the power source, and then you plug the forward button, and that moves the filament forward. And then there's like on my cruise control is either full fast or slow or any speed in between. And then there's another button here where I can retract it anytime, and it'll just eject it, and I can put other colors in. Okay, and so this is how you know, this takes the same size filament as what our 3D printers use. So any of the scraps or the tailings, we can recycle, use the filament. The filament's 1.75 millimeter, and when it gets squeezed out the front end, it's 0.4 millimeters. So it actually gets reduced four times in size and gets heated up to 210 or 215 degrees Celsius. And, yeah, you can, you know, so I made, so I didn't have a holder for my remote control for my Vizio TV. So I 3D printed one. So now I have a nice little holder for it, you know?
You guys got too much time on your hands.
my Roku, it needed one too. So then I made this little Roku holder. You just have fun with it, you know? Other than that, I can't think of anything other than Amazon has been fabulous for delivering. Oh, so tonight, you know, with Zoom, we have to have a sponsor, right? Okay, so you've all heard, have you heard of Happy Belly on Amazon?
No.
So they have Happy Belly trail mixes, tropical trail mixes. They have graham crackers that just taste like, but Happy Belly is the Amazon. So they have Happy Belly like pretzels. So I ordered the pretzels. Now it's no emergency. Do you know that they delivered it in 2 hours? Oh, all the stuff.
When you're hungry, you're hungry.
All the stuff I really needed still hasn't showed up, but the stuff I really don't need shows up right away, you know? It's like Tom. He was telling me that his printer, he's got a brother printer. It seems to only print the things that he doesn't want to print, but when he wants to print something he really needs to print, it never prints it.
Murphy's Law.
Right, Tom?
Yeah, well, that's not quite. When I loaded Zoom, ever since I loaded Zoom, it sends a message to my printer, and it says it's printing, but then it says my printer's busy all the time. And I hooked up another printer, and it recognized it right away, but it just don't seem to communicate. And I went through all the software. I tried to call. I've got the 2-year deal on here and tried to call Apple, and I haven't figured out why I can't print. I did sample prints, and both printers are printing fine. They just don't seem to communicate. And it has something to do, when I downloaded Zoom, I screwed up the software somewhere. I don't know what I did.
I wouldn't have the fog is why Zoom would have anything to do with it.
Well, maybe it wasn't Zoom. Maybe it just happened the day I did that. So I blame it on Zoom. I don't know. But I can't print anything now. I mean, I copy it and go in the house. I got another printer in there, and I print it in there. But I got 2 really nice printers here. I can't use it until I figure out how to communicate again. Well, I don't know what caused it.
Are you trying to go Wi-Fi on the printers?
No, I hooked them up. I took he told me to unhook everything. So I unhooked everything, no Wi-Fi, no everything, hooked up USB. So he said sometimes they get confused if you got too much stuff hooked up.
You know, I just bought a new printer, and sparing you the details, I went through hell trying to get things to work after I went to the USB first. I had to reconfigure everything and then go to Wi-Fi. It sits right here next to my computer. So I've been using a USB cable on my old printer for like 10 years. Old printer died, got a new printer, but I had to make that switch over from USB to Wi-Fi. But then I found, and this is about a few weeks ago, but everything's working okay. But yesterday, I went to a print queue and there was something in it. And I was really confused because I couldn't print it and I realized there was 2 print queues. One print queue for the Wi-Fi stuff, one print queue for the USB stuff. So it's like
Wow.
there's two, yeah. So there's like 2 separate worlds, depending what I use both of them. So both print queues are in there. So I'm looking at a document from like a month ago, and I go, I know I printed that document. What's that sitting in the print queue? And I said, well, go ahead and do a reprint, and nothing came out. And I finally figured out that it was probably from when I was using the USB for a couple of days. I had to switch over because the scan features were limited using the USB cable. So I had to go Wi-Fi to get all the scan features to work properly and to have the additional features.
What kind of printer?
Huh?
What kind of printer?
It's an HP.
Oh.
It's an HP inkjet, from Best Buy, standard $100 printer.
And what were you connecting it to?
My tower, Windows 7 tower.
Oh, wow.
Well, Tom has a problem with a brother printer. Does anyone else have a brother printer?
I have
Yeah, I
a
have
brother
one.
printer. I've been using it now for about 7 years.
Yeah, I've had mine 3 or 4.
Do you use USB or wireless, or do you use Ethernet, or what do you use on it?
I'm using wireless.
I'm not.
And I'm able to print from my Chromebook, my Android phone, Robin's Android phone, my iPad. It works no problems.
Before all this happened, mine was hooked to Wi-Fi, it was hooked to USB, and it was also hooked directly into the
Computer?
with the cord, and it worked fine. But just all of a sudden, it just quit working. And this is a third computer I've hooked up, and every time, as soon as I hooked it up and plugged in a printer, it says, you got a brother's, or you got this, or you got that, and it goes, gets the software, sets it all up, prints fine. I've never had to do anything, and now
You might uninstall the software and reinstall it.
I did that on the one printer.
Does it actually make it to the print queue?
Yeah, it makes it to the print queue, and then it says on pause, and I push it, and it says, okay, going. It says now printing to the computer, and when it gets to the computer, it says computer's busy, can't print now. And it does that on both of them. And the other one, I haven't, I've only tried to get on it a couple of times. One of them's a brother, and the other's a real small HP laser printer that I carry with me in my fifth wheel, because instead of ink, it's just a real small one, and it works good in the trailer, but all of a sudden it don't work. I don't know. Neither one of them work.
It almost sounds like it's trying to print to a port that's busy, the wrong port, just as an analogy.
See, originally, because I didn't have enough ports, I hooked up to a deal that had all kinds of ports, and it's been running off of that. So I thought about that, and I printed it directly into the computer, and I figured it could figure that out if it's directly hooked up HDMI to the computer.
Have you checked your device manager?
Huh?
Have you checked your device manager and see what's got a hold of it?
I just went and checked the print thing and seen that it went to the thing, and then it says it's printing, but then it says computer's busy, both of them, and
The printer's busy, not the computer.
right,
Yeah,
printer's
right.
busy. It just won't print, and I can't understand what I did wrong. Because if it would happen to one printer, in fact, I changed my printer cables too, because I thought I might have a glitch in the printer cables. I worked on it probably 8 or 9 hours so far. I don't have nothing printed yet. And I'm sure the printers work all right, because when you do a test print, they work fine.
Well,
And you're trying Wi-Fi. I would reboot everything, your routers and your wherever you're getting your signal from, and so on, and see if that helps too.
Okay, I rebooted everything but the router, and the building I'm in is not in my house. I got an office out in my shop, and I got a wire that runs out here, and it's a different Wi-Fi than the one that's in the house. But they're all hooked together. It's got a different, you got to put a different code in it to get into it. But it's been working fine, so that couldn't have been the problem. It might have been something in the router, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe talking to the wrong Wi-Fi as well. If you got more than one.
One of the things that
when it comes up, I pulled it. It told me what Wi-Fi it was hooked to, and it was hooked to the Wi-Fi I got out here.
And one of the things that I've discovered is that sometimes when I've got some unexplained problems, there are leftover files from previous installations of whatever that just seem to confuse the situation. So I use Glary Utilities, and Glary Utilities has a routine where it'll go out and look for these files that are no longer connected to anything, or might be duplicates or something like that. And I have cured a lot of problems just by running that.
Well, Glary, I run Glary on my Microsoft stuff, but I've never run it on an Apple. Will it run on Apple, Glary?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I have another software story to tell you about. I'm the last person to use Norton's security. Last person in the country, I think. Some time ago, Norton replaced their Norton security with a Norton 360. And they said, hey, just go and upgrade it and you'll be fine. So I did so. And then all of a sudden I had all kinds of, well, I shouldn't say all kinds of issues. When I would boot, I would get an error message, and sometimes I'd have to shut down and reboot my system. And I could not understand why. It behaved as if it was having trouble reaching my external drives. I have a backup drive as an external drive and so forth. So I puzzled around the hardware root for the longest time, trying to get to the root bottom of this. And then finally, one day I said, you know, I was looking at something that said, you still have the old Norton security and Norton 360 both on your machine. And I said, well, that's not right. It should have gotten rid of Norton security. So I went and did a total uninstall. And Norton has a little routine that you can run that says, clean off all the Norton stuff that you've got on your machine. So I cleaned it off. I did not replace the Norton, by the way. And the problem went away. I no longer have a message coming up when I boot. So if you have an upgrade to new software from a manufacturer that's slightly different, make sure it's gotten rid of the old one before you go and settle for the new one. Just an idea.
What did you use was that Glary Utilities you used?
No, Norton itself has a routine that I tried to use Revo, and Revo hung. But then I went into Norton and it said, go ahead and run this routine and download and run this routine that cleans off all the Norton stuff.
Okay.
Like
What was that, Jeff?
it was like an uninstall, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just removes all Norton stuff because Norton has other things too, Norton Utilities and Norton this and that and the other thing. This removes all Norton stuff.
My only question for Tom is have you upgraded your operating system?
No, because
Did you go to Catalina, for instance?
what happened was my old one wouldn't upgrade to Catalina, and I've had this new one for almost a year, and finally 2 months ago I got it out and loaded it all up, and it loaded up Catalina because that's what runs on it. It's not quite a year old yet. So I haven't downloaded any software except for the Zoom and the other software that we use to get online, because I've got both of those.
Well, I have a Brother label printer, and I had to download new drivers because the old drivers were 32 32 and the new ones were 64. So that was a Catalina issue.
Yeah, well, this one, when I hooked it up, it worked fine for quite a while, for 2 months. So I don't.
Mhm.
And the other one, I think, was 64-bit too. So,
64-bit.
so
That might be good. That's a good point, Jeff. Upgrading the system, that can cure a lot of things.
the only thing I upgraded, I think Catalina upgraded
kill some.
since we got it. I'm not sure.
Well, I didn't install Catalina until I looked at everything I didn't want to lose to make sure I could upgrade it to work. And that was one of them. I have a brother label printer that I use for a lot of things, and it needed new drivers. So I was able to get them from brother. It was easy.
Well, if this is a brand new computer, he doesn't have anything on there he has to worry about.
The only thing I got, remember, I hooked up, I got a 2 terabyte drive that I had, and this has got an automatic backup on it. I plugged it, you helped me, told me how to do it, and I plugged it in, and it backs everything up on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have that backup hard drive on here. What do you call that anyhow?
This time machine, but you're
Time
saying,
machine. I'm hooked to time machine.
but you're saying this computer, brand new out of the box, has never been able to print on that brother printer.
No. It's been up for about a month, and it was printing fine. And I didn't have trouble till I downloaded these last 2 software. Right after and Zoom might have not done it, but it happened. It never printed after I downloaded Zoom.
Did you try removing Zoom?
I didn't, and I might have 2 or 3 copies on there because I wasn't sure what I was doing, and so maybe that's the trouble.
Well, I also find that the Zoom software, at least on the PC, is updated periodically, more frequently than I would have expected. So you might make sure you have the latest version of Zoom on there.
Well, I downloaded it again tonight and it loaded it up. I couldn't get it to run, and so I downloaded and clicked on your hookup, and that's what I did tonight. So I might have another Zoom or 2 on there. I don't know.
Good reason to run Glary.
Yeah, for the run Glary, I'm not sure. I don't know if there's anything for Apple that you can run. I'm gonna check everything for you.
Well, Clean My Mac will do those kinds of things.
I bought the 2-year things sport. Shouldn't Apple be able to run a diagnostic on mine from their place?
Yeah. They can guide you through that. You call 1-800 Apple Care, APLCARE.
I've called them twice, and both times they put me on hold for a half an hour until I got bored with it.
It worked.
I went to a couple places for tech support or to contact somebody and said, your wait time will be about 240 minutes.
Wow.
I think I hung up at that point.
200. That's why they put solitaire on computers.
Yeah.
And you could wait 239 of those minutes and then go to the bathroom and miss your call.
Yeah, or as soon as you connect, they hit a button and disconnect you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's happened.
Tom, you probably have Apple Care, don't you?
I do on this computer. I do for 2 years.
Call them.
Huh?
That's what it's for.
I called them twice. I waited a half an hour.
Yeah, but don't hang up.
Just put the phone here.
What else?
Put that on my
What else are they doing?
speaker. When they come on, I'll know. But I called them once earlier when I was setting up the new computer, and they got right on and told me what to do. So I don't know what the problem is now. It's probably like a lot of other things that we every once in a while I'll be streaming something, and all of a sudden it'll just stop and say, click on later, we can't download now. I think maybe we get overloaded once in a while. So many people are home streaming.
Yeah.
It's probably one of those things that if you get the right person, they'll say, oh, I know what that is. You just do this and bingo.
Yep.
It works.
I've had that happen before after working 8 or 9 hours. It really pisses me off.
Hey, just so everyone knows, if you do something like cough or you got people talking in the other room or you get a phone call, I'm actively muting you. So if you're trying to talk now and we don't hear you, make sure you're not muted. And if you think about it, before you do something, mute your microphone, okay?
Yeah, and thanks for doing that, Sean.
Sure.
Where did it show up?
Yeah, I just did that. I was going to cough and then I muted myself.
Yeah, so it's you move your mouse on the screen and the mute button shows up on mine on the lower left.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, I just Googled, does Glary Utility work on Apple products? And the answer came back, no, it does not. But one of the little things that Google suggested was look at alternative 2. And so I have a link that I will put into the TechSIG, after this and send it to you, because that alternative 2 for both software and hardware, I find is fantastic. So it'll give you all sorts of other sources of where to look for that kind of a problem.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome. Okay, who's next?
Oh, hey, and in case any of you guys have had a speeding ticket lately, I haven't had one for 10 years. And I went in and paid it, but I signed up to get, it off my license, and I forgot all about it. And I come out here today. Now I seen that paperwork, it had to be in today. So I spent 5 hours here doing this exam for your driving test. Anyhow, my paper said I had to take it in person, but all the offices are closed. So I called up the testing company and they said, well, they haven't updated their paperwork, because now if you do a test with us, we send it in. And I called him this morning. He said they already have all your information. So you don't have to run in and take it into the office if you have to take that paperwork in to get it off your record. Just in case, I thought it was I didn't know that, and I was worried about getting in there and getting it done today, because that was the last day I had to get it in. They sent it, and they had it within an hour or two after I took the exam.
Great. I had something funny happen to me with regard to that. It wasn't a speeding ticket. I got a parking ticket in Tallahassee on March 16th. And I haven't been to Tallahassee since last year. So I disputed it. They put the license plate number down, which is not my license plate, but it had my name and address and everything. So I disputed it on their website. And about 2 or 3 weeks later, I got an email saying that I needed to provide them with proof that that is not my license plate. And they needed me to do some kind of a record search with the Department of Transportation. This is valid. This is them. This is not fake. This is the parking services for Tallahassee. Mm-hmm. So now I have to go to the county, or the Orange County tax collector's office, which obviously right now is not open. But once it does, I have to take time off of work, go over there, and get documentation that that is not my license plate. I did talk to somebody on their website, and I chatted with them, and they said, well, that is associated with one of your vehicles from back in August, which is when I bought so it must have been a temporary tag. It's not a tag that I've ever had for any extended period of time. But I just think it's ridiculous that I have to prove to them that I wasn't there. They need to prove to me that I was there, then I'll pay them.
Yeah, so much for innocent still proven guilty.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, when I was talking to the guy from the traffic thing today, he said, they're changing up here in Seminole County, and that's where I got picked up. And they said they're changing all their computer stuff so that this stuff is supposed to work lots better than it did before. And he thought the state was doing a good job with all the retirement homes, because his mother was 99 years old, and as soon as this thing come, he said they closed up the home and no one was allowed to go in. He thought that was a good thing, and she's still getting along really good, and they haven't had any fatalities in that unit. So he thought the governor did the right thing to take all rest homes and not let anybody in after they got the shutdown. I just thought it was interesting that he told me that about his mother when I called about my test. But that was from the guy that run the testing for the auto, to get the thing off your record.
Right.
It just is a thing I would just try it. The control system for this, I don't know if you can see it or not. No, you can't. Okay. No, I thought I might be able to make a change. Oh, there it is. There's a control system.
I think you need to minimize your zoom.
Yeah, it's another thing on the thing for what Hewie was showing. That's what this is that you can actually control the zoom on any screen. It lets you have a whole bunch of screens if you want them, if you're willing to pay for them, which I'm not. I'm using the free version, which doesn't allow me a lot of control. But I can show a movie to a friend if I want to, and of course it'll connect to the other websites. So it's pretty neat, and you can zoom the second page. So it's all right. And Hewie got a good deal on it. If I could get it for that, I would, Hewie.
Yeah, I paid. I looked it up. I paid $90 for a lifetime subscription, which is normally $150.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's like $40 a year or something for the normal version. And I'm not cheap, but I just don't use it that much. And this pretty much does what I want.
I didn't use it at all. It was just sitting there for about 8 or 9 months.
Well,
I didn't even install it.
It's a really handy thing. One thing, you got a lot more controls on yours than I have mine, and that makes a big difference as to what you can actually do. It's not worth that money, and but if I could get for $80-90 for a year or lifetime, I'd do it. But I still got that wire cam. Stan, did you get a chance to look at that? You were going to look at wire cam when last time we talked.
Who?
Stan.
Stan?
I'm sorry. Did I look at what?
Wire cam.
Wire cam.
Yeah, you took a note last time we were on for the, I guess it was the board meeting.
He can't find the note.
Well,
I don't recall it.
I definitely am not showing you my desktop on the real desk.
No.
My office often looks like an explosion in a waste paper factory. So
I'll do it now.
Okay. That's just something different.
I got something I'd like to share with you. Again, if you want looking for something else, it's a instructional on how to use your phone, your smartphone. It was a 9-minute video, and I chopped it up, and this is only about 3 minutes of it, 3.5 minutes of it. But I thought you might get a kick out of it. Share sound and share. Come on. And I got a black screen. Why? End of slideshow. Okay, I got to hit this to exit. Okay, that's still on there. And let me find it. And
consult your directory for any number you're not sure of. Write the number down. Like this. It will save you a lot of time and trouble if you keep the numbers in front of you while dialing. Now, let's use this demonstration model for a moment while we dial our number. Take up your receiver and always listen for the dial tone. Remember how it sounds, a steady hum. Now, let's dial the number we looked up and made a note of. Remember, always be sure to dial the first 2 letters of the central office name, then the 5 numbers. For example, for word 49970, dial W O. 9, 9, 7, 0. When dialing, notice that I brought my finger around until it firmly touched the finger stop. And now I remove my finger and let the dial go back by itself. Failure to bring your finger firmly to the finger stop with each pull of the dial may cause you to reach a wrong number. The same can happen if you force the dial back instead of letting it go back by itself. For incorrect dialing causes inconvenience and delay, not only to you, but to anyone you may have dialed in error. Another important point to remember when dialing is that wherever you have the letter O or the numeral O, as in our example number worth 49970, you will find the letter O next to N on the left side of the dial. The numeral O is always in the same space with the word operator. Now, soon after you dial the number you want, you will hear this tone. That's the ringing signal, an interrupted burring sound. Now, it tells you that the telephone at the number you dialed is ringing. The ring will continue until the telephone is answered, or if there is no answer, until you hang up. So let the telephone ring for at least a minute, or about 10 rings, to give the person you're calling time to answer. Now, if the number dialed is busy, you will hear a signal like this. The busy signal, a buzz-buzz sound. When you hear this signal, hang up. Try again a little later.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
It's amazing we've gotten as far as we have in society, hasn't it?
Yep. So even though we probably don't remember it, somewhere somebody taught us how to dial an old-time telephone way back then, just like we try to teach somebody our age how to use a cell phone.
Didn't you hate it when you got a number with a lot of nines in it?
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. Probably about 15 or maybe 20 years ago, I looked over. I paid for 2 telephone lines. One was for the computer, and one was for talking. 2 landlines. This is late 90s, and I was looking at those bills, and on both the bills, they were charging me for touch tone service. And I called them and I said, "What's this touch tone?" I mean, it was, I don't know, a couple bucks. And I wasn't making much money. I was trying to save money. And like, oh, well, they said that's by default, everybody gets the dial service. And if you want to be able to use a touch tone phone, yeah, I see that, Jeff. You have to pay this fee. And I said, who uses a dial phone like that anymore? This is 1998. And they would not back off. They were going to charge me for that. And you know what? Eventually, I wound up just getting rid of landline altogether. I said, the hell with that. So you're muted, Paul.
You're muted, Paul.
Now you're unmuted.
Go ahead, talk, Paul.
Go ahead.
Oh, I said, I remember that well, what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I've got an interesting computer situation. About a month ago, we talked about this when Mike ran the TechSIG last time. When my computer booted up, the boot up screen didn't come up to the right. What would you call it? When you go into personalize your computer, and you could choose the different landscapes, it shows its own stuff, and I had no control. And I worked on trying to fix this, and it's an HP computer, and I just kind of use the HP logo, and it's in the transparent mode, which has been fine for me. I don't really care. So I go, if you go to personalize and go to background, the cursor, when you go over the selections, rather than getting a hand, they were like grayed out. Make a long story short, I got some information out of Google, and I ended up going into opening up the C drive, going into Windows, going down to System 32, and then selecting services.msc, which looks like a little gear. And when you click on that and you open it up, themes come up. And what was happening is my themes were not getting energized when on the boot up correctly. It was doing its own theme, and I couldn't get to all my normal themes. So I went to MSC, Services MSC, and you click on that, and then there's a lot of selections, and you select themes, and then you go to restart. And themes would restart, and I'd have control back at the computer. And I was doing that every morning for the last month. And about the last week or so, everything seemed to heal itself. And now everything's working. And I've really done nothing. So this was really quite a full circle. I don't know why it happened, and I don't know what happened to make it fix, but you know, something could be going on in the registry. I don't know, but I mean, I don't really do any weird stuff to the computer. I use it pretty much the same way, and I don't really have a whole lot of stuff I really do with it. You know, some internet stuff, Word, Excel, and but it happened and it seemed to correct itself, and I guess time will tell if it stays fixed. Another interesting happened just in the last, today, I opened up my cell phone and I got a voicemail, and I opened it, and last week I just cleared out all my voicemails. I deleted everything. I only had 1 or 2 left, and now I open it, and all my old voicemails from like 2017 up to today have reappeared. That's a question for Sean, maybe. I don't know, but I just thought that was real interesting. I haven't listened to them to make sure I don't want them and re-delete them. It's been just happened today. So anyway, that's the only thing I wanted to just kind of talk about briefly.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happened. I've had that happen too, where messages that I thought were deleted just magically reappear. I don't know if they do some kind of a restore on their end for some reason or another, and it just shows up. I can't answer that. But the only thing I can say is to delete them again.
And going back to your Windows issue, almost every Tuesday there's an update, and it might have been an update, and the update broke something, and another update fixed it.
Oh, they're still up. I'm running Windows 7.
Well, that may not be what it is, but something might have got updated to cause it.
I'm still seeing updates that are straggling once in a while. I thought they'd stop sending out updates like months and months ago, but I just did one this week, and I did a couple a month ago, and I thought maybe it might have been one of the updates, but everything is good today, and I'm surprised I'm still getting updates.
Yeah, I think their Defender, or whatever they called it for Windows 7, is updating, and there's pieces and parts of it that get updated, but I think the operating system itself has not been.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with the operating system. I don't need anything. My next move will be to a Windows 10 computer. Of course, there's some stuff I need to run next year, which is only going to run on Windows 10. So I'm probably just going to get. Well, I'm not sure which direction I'm going, laptop or tower. So we'll see. But this computer serves me just 100% well. I have no problem because I don't do a whole lot with it.
Yeah,
just
my main computer is a Windows 10, but I probably use my Chromebook 90% of the time, and then my Windows machine maybe 10%.
But one of the programs I need to use next year will not run on a Chromebook, will only run on Windows 10. So I'll have to do something. I'll probably keep this computer, but maybe I'll just get a laptop so I can. We'll see. Anyway, that's
Hewie,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Ted.
How do I get my picture?
Snap. You're on your iPad?
Yes.
Go to the top and it should somewhere say start video. Go to the menu at the top.
Got it.
There you go. That's
Hey.
see,
I have
that's
a
simple.
question for you.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
Remember you were talking about telephones?
Yeah.
Can any of you remember when you used to just pick up the telephone and wait for an operator?
Well, that's what that video was about. It was in 1954 in someplace in Kentucky, and it was to tell the people that were going from a non-dial phone system to this new dial system, and it was explaining on how to use the dial system. Yeah, when I was a kid in high school, we moved from a city to a small town, and the phones didn't have dials. You picked up the phone, and the operator said, "What number?" And you said, you gave a 3 number and maybe 1 letter. And if you fit the 1 letter, it was a party line.
Yeah, party lines. I remember those too.
And if you used the phone a lot and it was a small enough town, usually when you picked up the phone, the operator would say, she would say, operator, she'd say, "Hi, Hewie, who do you want to talk to?" "I want to talk to my mother." "Okay, bingo, you were connected."
Yeah. That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Well, now I have a button on my phone that says Robin, and I just push the button and it connects to her. Same thing.
That was that's the early Siri or the early Alexa.
Yeah, there you are.
Because I just asked my phone, "Hey, call Shirley or call whoever I want to call."
See, it's all full circle. You know, back in those days, you'd go in a grocery store, you'd walk up to a counter and say, "I want a box of Cheerios and a gallon of milk," and they'd go to the back and collect it and bring it up to the counter and put it in the bag and charge you for it. They're doing that now.
Yeah.
And if you wanted delivery, my mother used to call the Parkside grocery store and give the order, and Johnny would come on his bicycle with the groceries in the back and bring him in, and she'd give him a little tip and he'd go off. And that's what we're doing today with Shipt and some of these other delivery services. So it's come full circle.
Yeah.
You could say, put it
Back
on my tab.
About 1949, I was Johnny, and I remember the first phone we got. It was just right near my birthday in 1945. And the number was 9754. And it was a dial. I'm old.
Yeah, our number was 432W, and the W because we were on a party line. We didn't want to be on a party line, but they didn't have any private lines available. So a lot of times I'd pick up the phone and there'd be somebody talking on it, so I'd have to hang up or put my hand over the phone so I could listen.
Did you have a different ring? When we lived out on the edge of town, we had a party line, and they had one long ring. That would be our phone would ring, one long ring. But if it was for us, it'd be 2 short rings.
Yeah, I don't remember, but that must have been.
Yep.
I don't remember that either.
But I remember hearing about that, but I don't remember if we had that or not.
Yeah, I remember it.
Do you? Yeah, we're old.
And again, going back to full.
I forgot to tell you. I had a new thing I wanted to show you, and I can show you now. This is an Oculus Rift, which means 3 dimensions. Doggonest thing you ever played with. I'll get some video put together. You can't see the 3 dimensions, of course, but you can see it. And,
you can record what's on it?
I can record what's on it, but either you see 1 picture or you see 2 pictures.
Okay, yeah.
Because inside this thing are, 2 Oculus, okay? and you're looking at 3 dimensions. So when I fly in my simulator, I can look up this way, look up that way, lean out, look at the ground, turn around, look behind me, and it's all there. Doggonest thing you ever saw.
What flight simulator are you working with?
I've got Prepared. I've got Aero 2F and X-Plane and one other one, I can't remember. I'm kind of partial to Prepared, but X-Plane has some interesting things too.
Does it all work with that Rift pretty good?
Yeah, I can't complain. Also, you can go to Google Earth on this thing. You can fly over the countryside, dive down, walk along the streets. It's really interesting for 3D. I sit out in front of my house and check the neighbors, and it really works. It's really something. And this is a 2nd generation. They had an Oculus. This is an Oculus Rift 2, and it's not high density. If you're sitting in the airplane and the dials are real small, you do have to lean forward to look at them. But then again, I might have to do that in a real airplane. And to handle the controls and everything, this is what you use. This goes in on your wrist, and you can actually grab things with it. And you have a button here, a button here, button here, and a button here. So you can actually stick your finger out and point a laser and shoot things. I mean, it's built so you can move around a room. There's a lot of cord on this thing, and it sets the limits of how you can move around the room, which of course you're not doing that when you're flying a simulator. But if you get too close to the edge, it starts getting transparent, and you can see what's on the other side of the viewer, so you don't run into anything. I have a lot to learn about it. I haven't messed with it a lot, but for simulation, this one I gave you, Digital Combat Simulator, I haven't messed with that one yet, but it's got to be the bee's knees, because flying formation with another airplane, I've flown simulators that cost $35–40 million for the Navy and the Marine Corps, and you could practice a lot of that and have nothing but a PC and one of the Oculus Rifts. Doggone this thing. Anyhow, I'll have some more stuff on it next one of these times and be able to show you the inside of the airplane.
What does that system cost?
I think about 500.
Okay, because I know the club's interested in buying one for the kids, so I just wanted.
Yeah. Oh, I need to talk to you separately about that problem with their computers and multiple screens.
Yeah.
I think I can solve it.
Okay, good.
Anyhow, interesting thing. I'll have more later. Film at 11.
Hewie, how many's on board tonight?
Well, I think there were 12. We got 11 now.
Is Jack Pearson still with us?
Yep.
Yes, I'm sitting here listening quietly.
Okay. You never did get the picture to come up, and Ted, you
No,
can.
I'm gonna have to take a look after I get off here. I'm gonna have to go into my settings and see if maybe the camera's not turned on or something.
Got it.
It doesn't seem to work even when I go in. It says you're not going to the right camera, and I only got one camera, so you know it's probably turned off.
I have 4 pictures across the bottom. Do any of you have more than that on the screen?
Well, you're on an iPad, correct?
Yes.
I don't know whether you can go into gallery view or not. Is there something that says either gallery view or like 9 little dots?
Yeah, you can do it. They call it the waffle.
Is that up to the top?
It's over on the left-hand side.
Left-hand side. Okay, I
Looks
got
like
you on the
looks like a
phone
waffle.
and it won't come down. Oh, there it is, notification center.
Well, you turned your camera off.
It's right next. It's right next to where it says full screen.
It says switch to gallery view.
Then to the left.
Jackie's on an iPad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on an iPad also. It says the switch to gallery view on the left-hand side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I sure don't see you anymore.
Yeah, we lost your picture.
Yeah, we lost your picture, Ted. You got to turn
Okay.
on your camera again. Let me
Well,
see. Let me see if I can send a signal to you to.
I just did.
Okay.
I got an AT&T window. It says 8/21, Tuesday, April 28th. And that's it.
I think did it go to sleep? Did your screen go to sleep, Ed? Do you have to wait? Do you have to put your code in yet?
Hit your button twice and switch to the right window.
If
Now-
you're on an iPad, the four pictures on the bottom slide. They slide. Just swipe with your finger. They slide to the left.
Well, it doesn't do that. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, I'm on an iPad and I just slide it and I see another four pictures.
Well, I
You
have
can also get 9 pictures on your screen if you do gallery view.
Yep.
I
Total
got
of
my
9
feet.
pictures.
I've got 8.
Hey, there we go.
Okay. Now you got to turn your camera back on and we'll be all set, Ted.
Camera.
It'll say start video.
Start video.
Yeah.
No, I don't see that anywhere. Is it up or down?
Should be at the top, I believe.
Okay.
It looks like a camera.
I don't have anything that looks like a camera.
A square box with a horn.
I know what it looks like, but I don't see it.
Do you have to touch the screen to get it to show up?
Yeah.
Touch the screen, Ted, to see what appears
That's
after you
what.
touch the screen.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Touch the top of
I think I'd be okay
of the
with going
screen.
out. We could probably do the rest of the meeting without seeing Ted.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll say goodbye right now.
No, don't say
say
goodbye.
you can see us, right?
No, not now. I can't.
You can't see what?
Anybody but me. And it's full screen.
Oh, you hit the camera and you're probably seeing the camera view. Double click the start button and then choose which screen you want. You probably got a lot of things. There you go. You're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yay.
I liked it better the other way.
Thanks. I'll remember that.
So Ted, what'd you do? Ted,
Beats the devil out of me.
Okay.
Well, whatever you did it right this time.
I think Ted maybe had gone to a different program or something.
Yeah, I think you switched windows,
When it does
whatever
that,
you call them on an
your-
iPad.
Yeah, you lose the video when you switch to another app. So I've got something I can show. Unless somebody's wants to do something else, I can show you these files that I use for the 3D printing are kind of interesting, and the app that I use. The name of the printer company is Prusa, out of somewhere in Europe. Where's that from, Gary? Do you remember?
Prague, Czech is.
Prague.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see. I'm going to try sharing the.
Yes.
Oh, I can't share my screen. There we go.
I was on Zoom.
I'm gonna. Oh, it wants me to disconnect. Can I reconnect?
We didn't lock it, so you can.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Stan, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Your
can't
camera's
see
off.
you.
Yep. Oh, I stopped it.
I thought maybe you had gone somewhere and just.
Can we mute Tom?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let me, I'll do that. I muted him. Oh, Sean's coming back. Let me let him in.
Okay. This is called a pocket scan. And you can, okay. So it would be ready to scan right now when that light's on. And you just put it up against something and you just push that button. And then when it tells you it's time, you just go across it and it scans it. And if it's text, it converts it to text, and then you just copy the text and put another program in, and like a text edit program, and paste it into the text program. Like I was making my accountant sent me a PDF of my taxes, my 941s to do today, and so I got the PDF, and then I just scanned the IRS's website, their address, and then turn it into text, and then printed the text, and then cut a label and put it on the envelope instead of writing it
or typing it.
Yeah. So it's actually a laser, and they're $99. You can buy them on Amazon. It's another brand. This here is a Ducata. Ducata is called a pocket scan, and it's called something else on Amazon, something B, but they're $99. They must have upgraded it, because on Amazon they show the videos where they scan a spreadsheet and it opens up Excel and dumps the scan right into a spreadsheet. Hey, Paul,
Sean's trying to get back in here. He dropped out on us. Here he comes. Okay, we got you back, Sean.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll show this to you. Screen sharing is disabled. Can you do that? Can you?
Oh, yeah, I got to put you back as a co-host.
Can we mute Paul because of all the noise with the spoon?
Done.
He did.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so these STL files are what you download for these printers. Now I went to thingiverse.com, and that's basically a place for people to post things that they've created. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it downloads, when you click download, it downloads the STL file or group of STL files. One of the things I printed was I have a Google Home Hub that it's a 7-inch screen, and you can talk to it. Very similar to the Amazon Echo, but in the Google atmosphere. And anyway, I wanted to mount it under my cabinets in the kitchen. We've had it on the counter for well over a year, and I thought it'd be nice to get it up and off the cabinet. So I downloaded this. This is something that somebody had come up with. That's for that icon right there is for the Google Home Max or Google Nest Max. But this is the holder for the one that I have, and that's just the base. And then there's the piece that attaches to the cabinet, and and then that's the down piece. So I had to print each of them individually. Actually, you can print them off the same. They'll fit on the bed. You can print all of them. But let me show you the. This is the mount. I can just show you the mount. There's a piece of software that you can download for free from Prusa Slicer, or from Prusa, called the Prusa Slicer, and this allows you to manipulate the piece or the piece you're going to print, and give it properties of how you want it to talk to the printer, like the density and the orientation when it prints. Do you want a certain side to print face down, which is important. So it's opening that file, and I'll show you what that's like. It's a pretty neat piece of software. And from what I understand, even even people with other printers will still use this software because it's pretty good. Yeah, there's other Prusa printers, but it's my understanding other people still use it because it's good. Anyway, you can move it around to see. You can even look underneath whatever the pieces that you're trying to print. See how it's going to connect to the printer, the heat bed. If I wanted to, well, just as an example, I can actually make this thing bigger if I wanted to. And also I can rotate it on the bed. And I can go over here and I can tell it which piece do I want to be face down. So I'm going to say, I want that to be face down. So now when it prints, it would print like this.
Huh.
Yeah. You want the biggest piece to, I'm still getting the hang of this. I think the best part is to have the largest piece face down, or there can also be instances where there's a piece that would be kind of hanging off that could cause some issues. So I'm still learning about that, but a pretty neat thing. And then once I'm ready to print, let's see here, make sure that's the one that piece is going to, then I would go down over here and I'd click on slice. What that does is it creates the layers, because this is really a 2D printer, right? 3D printer, I don't know if any really exist yet. This is a 2D printer in that it prints one level at a time in 2D, and then it builds it up to something that's 3D. So now I've done that, and I export a G code, and the G code is what the printer reads. So I export that into a file that I put onto a flash drive that's plugged into my computer, and then I unplug that and I plug that into the side of the printer, and then the printer would read that file. And you can't unplug that flash drive while the printer is printing, because it reads it off of that flash drive as it's printing. So,
John, show them the different layers. Use that slider.
Yeah. Let's see here. So you can see what it's going to look like inside of it, because it's not solid. It's actually, this one's 15% infill. I didn't change it. But as you see, as you slide it down, that's what it looks like, each layer as it prints it.
Now, what material are you using to print it?
There's different types of plastic. The plastic that I got with it is called PLA. And Gary's more familiar with this. This PLA is it corn, Gary?
Polylactic acid.
Yeah, and it's made out of corn, isn't it?
Yes.
So I ate some the other night for dinner. It wasn't too bad. Yeah, I was a little constipated afterwards, but I won't get into that.
Now, let's say you're making something like this, and something screws up partway up. Can you reuse any of the material, or do you just throw it away?
No, you throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. I'm the expert in that, right, Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about, John, could I play that QuickTime on Zoom, do you think, of the multi-layer colors? That video?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you want to take over?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll see if I can grab it.
Okay.
As soon as you have it, either Sean or I can give you co-host. Who is that?
That's Gary.
Gary, okay. Now let me make Gary a co-host.
Where's that video? Let's see. Well, I sent to messages to you.
Oh, right.
Sean. Okay. I think I found it. No.
I'm looking for it. I don't see it here, Gary.
Oh, there it is. Whoops. Passed it. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's on YouTube.
Okay, well, you can share your screen and go to YouTube and play it. Make sure when you share your screen, there's should be a button on there. It's going to say to use your computer audio. Make sure you click that.
Okay. So, okay, so we're going to go to
share your screen.
Whoops. Well, first, my Zoom, I'm trying to get back onto I'm trying to get onto Zoom. I can't get the screen.
You want to text it to me and I can do it?
Yeah, I completely
we still see you.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but you don't see the screen.
I just made this part, and it changes colors every 2 millimeters.
You need to share your screen. Hit the share button.
To do that automatically. So
okay,
I just made this test part, and it changed an
I
object.
am so sorry. I'm trying to get to.
And then you slice it, and now you
is
have
someone
this
else doing
slide
that?
tells you
No, that's you.
layers there are. So if I click on this gear and say
I'm closing every window I have.
it says there's 5 millimeters.
I'm
there's
closing every
25
window.
Layers of filament.
We got one that's playing the video.
I can say change the color to green. And then I can hit this gear again and say, okay,
okay, that was messages. Okay, so how do I get back to meeting? I'm sorry. Okay, we'll see if we can do that again. Okay, so I got to go to
go to the menu and say share screen.
Share screen. Okay.
When you do, it's going to come up and want to know what screen. And also at the bottom, there should be a little box that says share your computer sound. Make sure that's checked.
And optimize screen share.
No, do not click that.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to share. So now I have to find what I'm trying to share, right?
Well, you haven't shared yet. Yeah, well, just do the full screen.
Okay, full screen. I am.
Okay, but you haven't shared it yet.
Open screen. Oh, I have to do preferences. I'm so sorry. Okay, I have to approve Zoom. Okay. I'll have to quit.
I can play it, Gary. Why don't you just text the link to me and I'll play it. I just muted Ted. Ted's got a nice ceiling.
Yeah.
I think he's talking, but we can't hear him now.
Ted?
I got to plug in my iPad.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm sending this to you, Sean.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I just made this part, and it changes colors every 2 millimeters.
Here we go. Boy, I feel like I clucks. It's like trying to get into the meeting and find the app. And okay, so back to the meeting. Okay, I'm back. So you should have it, Sean. You're much better at this.
You sent it to me. There it is.
Sorry, it's a YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the few YouTubes I do, that I've done.
All right, let's see here. No, I can't hear it.
Is it playing?
And it changes colors every 2 millimeters, and I program Prusa Slicer to do that automatically. So what I do is import an object, and then you slice it. And now you have this slider that tells you the height and how many layers there are. So if I click on this gear and say 5 millimeters, it says there's at 5 millimeters, there's 25 layers of filament. If I hold the shift and hit the plus, I can say change the color to green or any color. And then I can hit this gear again and say, okay, at 12 millimeters, let's go to hello. Okay. And then at 24 millimeters, let's go to red. Okay. So that's done. And whatever the last color is, that's what the rest of the part will be. Now, you have to slice it again. And then if you scroll down here, you can see the colors and how many minutes it will take for each one and how many millimeters of filament it will take. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, we did it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was cool. Very cool. Neat.
Thanks for your help.
Sure.
Hey guys, since upgrading the 3D printer to the Bowden extruder and the E3D version 6 hot end,
Went to the next video. I have autoplay turned on. It didn't sound like you, Gary.
No.
We're going to expect great things from you next time, Sean.
I learned everything I know from Gary.
Since I've gotten that printer, which was what, 2 months ago, I've run this thing every single day, 8 to 12 hours a day, sometimes all night long. I'm running the heck out of this $350 printer.
I printed yesterday, or day before, yesterday, I printed a motorcycle kickstand plate for the ground. You know, on a motor, if you have a motorcycle and you have a kickstand, you don't want it to sink into the soft ground underneath. So a friend of mine, he bought an electric motorcycle called a Zero. The company's called Zero Motorcycles, and it's all electric, and it's a full-size Harley style bike. It's a big bike.
Wow.
And he asked me, would you be able to print a motorcycle platform for me, the stand? And I said, sure. So he found one that he liked on Thingiverse, sent it to me. I printed it, I did it 30% infill. And we were worried about it pushing through, and because it's pretty heavy, that bike. But it worked great. 30% was absolutely fine. And it took up almost the entire bed of the printer, and it took about 14 hours to print. And I printed it at 200.
Yeah. So
you can print from, I guess, 1. I've never gone down as low as 1. For speed, it's 100 is the default. You can go down and you can go up, and you can go down to, I think, 1. They say sometimes it's best to start a print at about 60. With this print, I went all the way up to, I think, 200 or 220, something like that. So it was cranking. It was really moving. And, but it's still, I think by default, it was going to take 22 hours, and I got it done in about 12 hours, I think it was. I forget now. But,
what's the give and take as far as speed goes? I mean, what advantage and disadvantage?
Well, accuracy. So the faster you go, the more likely there's a chance that it'll mess up, and when it does, it can ruin the print completely. Now, if the filament isn't staying in line where it's supposed to, it's like taking a pencil on and drawing on a wall or something. It no longer is functional. So with this kickstand, with this motorcycle kickstand, it was a big. I don't know if it had 8 sides or 9 sides, but it was all straight lines for the most part. So I was pretty confident I could do it quickly. And but I'm doing something right now for my wife that has curves and stuff in it, and I'm printing it at 50. just so it doesn't make a mistake. And it's quieter at 50. I had it going at 100. I don't know if you could hear it earlier. It was making noise. So the faster it goes, it gets a little bit noisier. Not crazy, but yeah, for accuracy, the more accurate, the slower, or the more complex if it has curves and stuff in it, you want to go a little bit slower. And for the first layer where you're gonna get it sticking to the bed, you want it to go slower as well.
Yep. Now I made a drawer out of this yellow plastic, but it's a drawer that never gets filled up because it's rubber. So I actually print so it never gets full, because every time I throw something in it just bounces back out, so it always is empty.
That's one way to keep your drawers clean.
Oh.
If you can figure out how to print toilet paper, you'll make a fortune.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I got some more filaments. I got one filament that's it's silk. So it's made out of the corn, but for some reason they call it silk, and it actually looks like, you know, if you get a trophy, an award, how you have this nice golden figure, whatever it is, it's nice and shiny. Well, when you print, you get this gold shiny finish, like it's bronze or it's gold. So
Did you already got it, or did you order it?
No, I'll get it a couple days, and then I have another one that glows in the dark, and I have another one that's clear coming in.
How many spools do you have so far?
Oh my gosh, well, probably 12.
I've got 6.
Yeah, it's addictive. It's very addictive. Yeah. But the thing is, it can be running all day long when you're doing other things, you know, but it's really addictive because you want to watch it, you know, so you take breaks, you go, oh, what's it doing? What's it doing? You know?
Right. Yeah.
When you
Are those spools expensive? I think you said so earlier.
$20 bucks. Like
20, 25, depends on the way which one.
The silk, the one that looks like metallic gold or bronze, those are like $25 or $30.
But they last for a while. The spool looks like this, and the filament, you know, is this little thin piece that winds around it. I don't know how many feet this is, but it's a lot of printing. And I used up. I mean, this is how much is left. This part here, and I printed a bunch of things on here, and one of those things being the motorcycle stand. And I've still got quite a bit left. And so this is, I don't know how many feet this is, Gary?
They base it on kilograms. It's so many kilograms.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So, but in your Prusa slicer, it will tell you how many millimeters you're going to use. And it tells you it seems to know the average price of filament. So it says, you know, it's going to cost you $1, you know, to make it.
This is the one.
When you change the color on that thing, do you have to use different color filaments?
Yes. Yeah, the color comes from the filament itself.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I've got
black. Run out of yellow, you got to put your red on. Is that the idea?
Right. Yeah,
right.
All these colors.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Any color you want. And what I've noticed since social distancing, almost all the filaments on Amazon are like sold out. People are buying 3D filament like crazy.
Are you making any masks?
I made a face shield to hold an acrylic sheet. I made one of those.
Wow.
I'm going to show you my, I printed my recent prints. I printed this, I talked about the Google Home Hub. This is what it looks like.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to make it bigger. That's what it looks like. So there's the piece that attaches to the, That's actually not the one I did. Hold on. I've got some pictures that I sent to Gary. Hang on, Gary.
Okay.
Remember I sent those pictures to you?
Yep.
So this is the actual one I printed. So that's the Google Home Hub that I have. That's it there. And then this is the base piece. I had to go out and buy a screw. I know I'm not. I didn't have the screw, the kind of screw that I needed. Screw and nuts to connect to the top here, and then I just wound the cord around, and I ran the cord back, nailed it into the kitchen cabinet. So kind of a neat setup, and it keeps the counter clean.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah.
So Sean's been using his Wise camera to do time-lapse photography of his 3D prints. So by next meeting, we should have some pretty cool time lapses.
Yeah, I've got some too. Let's see if I've got one I can show.
I thought the clip every 30 seconds was making the movie too fast. I was thinking maybe once every 10 seconds to do a snap would be better.
Yeah, right. Let's see here.
I think Jeff Walker's in full reclining mode there.
I'm looking for the StarLink satellites.
My system is acting really strange. All of a sudden, everything kind of freezes, and I realized this is the time of night that my system does an automatic backup to the cloud. It takes a lot of the resources of my computer. So if I'm talking and it gets garbled, it's not because of the bandwidth, it's because of the computer width. I back up to iDrive every night, and I think I'm up to about I think I have 2 terabytes of space, and I'm about just over a half full. So it's double checking and uploading differences for the day, whatever I did, but it's checking over a terabyte.
I can hear the glitch in your voice.
Yeah, that's what's causing it.
I found that video that Gary's talking about. So I took a snapshot. That thing that I showed you that I printed when I first showed the meeting, this is it being printed. It is a little bit fast, but that's...
Oh, that's
neat.
And
that was on the mount. That was the camera on the mount that I have attached to the printer that I showed you as well. So that's the one that's the angled version of the Amazon Eko Dot or Eko Spot that I'm going to attach to the wall. So. And
what happened to Tom? He never came back.
He probably fell asleep in the other room. I can't hear him snoring. Of course,
we muted him. No, he got up and actually left the room. He probably went back to the house.
I do the same thing. I'll see you guys later.
All right, Ted, glad you joined us. Nice seeing you again.
Yeah, this was a good session, what I saw of it. So,
Great. Good night, Ted.
See you all later.
Okay. Bye.
I brought answer a question for me. Is this backwards, this thing here? Wait a minute.
The video?
Yeah. No.
No.
Not backwards. Okay. All right. That's the status of coronavirus in Florida. It's updated twice a day. Nice thing about it is you can go to your county. I'm in Seminole County, and it gives me the data for the Seminole County. And also you can, it's interesting, you can go by zip code. I'm in Seminole County right there. That's me, 32708. And there I am. We have 32 cases in our zip code. And there's a lot of data on there.
What's that website?
Oh,
I have it.
can you see it?
I can send it out.
Ah, very good, very good. Because it's a long thing. I can send it out, but if Sean's got it, I'll let him do it.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, it's really handy, but it's not good news, of course. Today, Florida had 776. Yesterday it was 524.
Yeah, but they're testing more too. I saw that.
Yeah.
Here in Manatee County, you don't even need a prescription anymore.
Oh, really?
Well, has anybody else had a test?
Yeah, they over in Orange County, Lucille and I had it this morning, and you didn't have to have a prescription. All you had to do was call in and make an appointment.
Yeah,
But they also had in Apopka that the city did at the VFW. You just went there, and they did it.
Yeah, they got
they're
3
really-
drive-in places in Seminole County where you just drive in.
Yeah, that's what these are.
Yeah.
And they're really testing like crazy around here because I think they got about 38 people in Apopka or something. So they said a whole bunch of people over here to test people.
That's great.
Yeah.
Seminole County is tested 6,585.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't have that information like you have in front of you there.
Yeah, it's on that site. You
Share
can
that
get
link
it.
in the chat window on Zoom. If you can find the chat window, you can click on the link.
You going to put it in the notes you send out too, Sean?
Yes, I am.
Good.
There you
Oh,
go.
there it is. Yep. Well, I went last Tuesday and I got my results today, so it took about a week. Some are getting them about 2 days apart, but it took me a whole week to get mine.
You're freaky there. Your head's floating in the sky somewhere.
I know. Yeah, I'm up in the space here.
Yeah, you and Dick.
You and Dick are in the same wavelength there, or
Is that
whatever.
right?
Be careful you don't collide up there.
They're in low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
Space is big. You know?
Did you find any StarLinks up there in space?
Oh yeah, there's one right there, right behind my head there.
One of the things I think would be more useful when they give out the statistics on the television every night is not the total number, but
Right.
the number of additional positive cases, because I think that would be more indicative of whether or not we're peaking and starting to reduce the size of our increase.
Well, they also need to tell how many survivors.
Yeah, one of the TV stations the other night, the first thing they come on with was how many people survived and went home. And I thought that was pretty good. That was like 700,000 or something.
Yeah, they got that yellow bar graph down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put your one on a bar, it'll tell you how many that day.
Oh, okay.
So you can see what the line is doing. We got way up here to like to 1,300 here, and it goes down, then it comes back up. Had a bad day on the 23rd, and it goes back down. So is the line flattening? Probably a little. It's a very informative website.
It's still scary out there, and
Absolutely,
people
yes.
and the natives are getting restless, so they're getting to the point where, well, we ought to just open things up, and it's gonna be a mess. But I did read an article about restaurants and some of the issues. Stan and I both are going to be disappointed because probably buffets are going to go away, at least for the near future. Anything where multiple people are touching the same handle, the same utensil, that's going to definitely go away. So the way buffets work are going to be completely out. Even soda machines where you go and you get the refills, those are going to probably be shut off for a long time.
A lot of them already have.
Yeah, and anything where you get it yourself or do it yourself is pretty much going to be shut off.
Yeah, you saw that with Waffle House. They're not going to have reusable menus. They're going to have they're going to be passing out menus that you keep, and there won't be any condiments on the tables either.
Wow, I can keep my menu now from Waffle House?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I got this neighbor. He just moved up from Key West. He has a mother that lives down the street, like, about a mile and a half away. He knocks on my door and he says, "Hey, I quit my job." And I says, "Well, what were you? What did you do?" He says, "Well, I was a chef for a restaurant." I says, "Well, why'd you quit?" He says, "Well, I was afraid to catch the virus." He says, "So, by the way," he says, "do you have any extra food? Because I don't have any food." I says, "You're a chef and you have no food in your house? Are you kidding me?" And I says, "Hey, we're all in bad times." Well, another day he comes over and he says, "Hey, I ran out of toilet paper. Do you have any toilet paper?" And I says, "Hey, guy, we're all responsible for our own toilet paper, so take care of it yourself." And then the other day he knocks and he says, "Hey, do you have $20? And I says, "No, I don't." He's a smoker and he drives a BMW, and he comes over here asking me for $20, and his mother lives down the street 2 miles. You got to be kidding me.
Next time he comes over, send him to Home Depot. My son said they're hiring people like water, and they're paying about $12 an hour because they need all the people they can get.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
since the toilet paper has gotten difficult to get, I went on a cracker diet and I just bought a whisk broom.
Oh, that sounds great. You could always get some old corn cobs if you looked around.
Oh, come on, guys. Why do they print the New York Times?
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
There's no more Sears catalog.
Yeah.
There's Tom.
Hey,
There's Tom.
You can ask him if he's got any toilet paper.
Yeah, the trouble with the New York Times is it clogs your toilet.
Yeah, right.
It rolls your brain.
Hey, what you guys talking about? Toilet paper?
Yes.
Aldi's had a bunch of it in there today.
I was in a Walmart a couple of days ago and they had the shelves were full.
Huh.
Good.
I guess the people hoarding it don't have any more room.
Yeah, one
Or
guy
money. Or they ran out of money, Hewie.
back and they wouldn't take it back.
Yeah.
Well, if you could buy something, I don't think it would be toilet paper if I was out of food.
I even found hand sanitizer at a 7-Eleven.
Walmart had hand sanitizer.
Yep.
I was in Aldi yesterday, and the girl in front of me had toilet paper. So I said, "Oh, they got toilet paper?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I don't need any. I'll just pass today." And the package was as large as the cart. I don't know how many rolls were in it, but it was like a Costco size. It was like bigger. I mean, it was like 3 normal large packages all together. It was tremendous. So they got some large packages.
Hey guys, I'm going to cut out. It was good seeing everyone. And hopefully next month or the month after, we can all be together again.
That'd be great.
Yep. Yeah, I think this worked. I worked fine tonight.
Did. And Hewie, thanks for setting this up. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Yeah, Hewie. Another thing.
And by the way, Sean, before you go, and I did send this out, I think, tomorrow night, and I can't publicize it yet where it's going to be. I'll just send you where the recording is. I'm working with a group that has 1,200 members in it.
Oh, wow.
And they typically get 400 close to 400 at a meeting. They pretty much fill a room that has a maximum of 400. They moved from a room that had a maximum of 200. They filled and couldn't let any more people in. And what we're doing is we're going to do Zoom. The president of the group, one other person, and I are going to be on Zoom. And we've checked it out. We've practiced and so on. What we're going to do is we're going to send the Zoom, and Zoom does this as part of the way it's set up to YouTube, and we're going to do a YouTube live where anybody in the group can watch it, and there's a live chat that they can ask questions on it, and then somebody's going to be monitoring that and then getting it back to us so we can answer the questions over Zoom.
Wow,
So,
great.
we'll see how that goes. And the nice thing about Zoom, you can either do it through YouTube Live, which I like, and I'll tell you why in a second. And the other one is you can do it through Facebook. But what I like about YouTube Live is they record it. They turn it into a recording afterwards, and one of the choices there is include the chat box. And so the recording has all of the chat as well in it. Yeah. And it does it automatically. So as soon as you're done with the meeting, it takes a while for it to finish it all up and so on. And then the recording's already there. You don't have to upload it or do anything with it. And you can go in and edit if you need to using their software.
Wow, neat.
Yeah, the simulator guys use that pretty often, where we all buy a certain type of airplane, and somebody will come on and do tutorials on how to start, run, fly an airplane. And it's online, and nice thing, of course, is when it's done, they record it, and they record the questions and answers.
Yeah.
Really a good deal. You'll love it.
But we're going to be doing this through Zoom to produce it. I'm doing the presentation for tomorrow night. And then their group can be at home and watch it. And they've been getting a lot of really good feedback from their members. They're excited to be able to have a meeting.
Great.
And that's at 7, Hewie?
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
You know what I realized? I didn't have trouble after Zoom. I had trouble after we loaded Google. We did Google last week.
Hey, Hewie.
Yes.
What kind of a microphone and headset do you have? Because you sound really good.
Well, I think I got the box here. The problem is, I can't get to it. The problem is the one I had just like this died, and I couldn't get a replacement of the same one. And all of a sudden I found one on Amazon, but they're gone again. The first one I had lasted probably about 6 or 7 years. It's a gaming one. The thing I like about it is this is adjustable, but it also stores back in.
Oh, cool.
But the microphone on it, yes, is very good. And everyone always says it's nice and clear.
Yeah,
it is. Well, what brand is it?
I can't even remember. It's an off-brand, something I never heard of.
Okay.
I think I paid about $40 for it, $45.
It sounds wonderful.
Which was reasonable.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, well, I guess we're leaving.
Well, I see Dick's got a headset and Ken's got a headset, and it really makes a big difference. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a gamer headset too.
Yeah, and the big thing about it is when you turn your head, you're not turning away from the microphone.
Right.
Yeah.
Where if the microphone's in one spot and then you're moving your head, you're not getting the sound out of it properly.
Yeah, mine's an old Logitech.
And I tried a desktop one, and I just don't I don't have the real estate on my desk for it. I did buy, and let me turn the light off so I can show it to you. I did buy, as you can see, it makes a big difference. Let me show you here. I don't have enough wire on this camera right now. See if I can, whoops. I bought this light, this circular.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get it far enough away, but I paid about $50 for it, probably more than I should have. But boy, does it make a difference! And the thing is, with Zoom, you really want the light in front of you, and so when I turn it on, let's see, there we go.
Yeah, look at the difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
And let me just bring this down here.
Yeah.
And especially when you're using the virtual background, Because I'm in Minicam, I can't do that right now. But if you're using the one, a lot of times it pieces and parts pixelate and show through, and that has to do with the lighting. And this kind of cures it most of the time.
Huey, if you got the full set, you got chroma key.
Yeah, but it just wasn't working right. I got to play around with it more. I just haven't played with it enough.
All right.
I'm just playing with the advertisements. I had a friend that wanted a background for his, he's doing some group things, and he wanted to publicize his business up in the corner, and I had to make him a background, and he was doing it on his iPad, and when it worked out good on my desktop, but when I gave it to him, it was too far over, and I had to play around. And so and then when I tried this, gosh, I can move the sign around any place I want, which is nice.
Any size too, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out, guys. I'll see you later.
Yep.
Thank you. Great job, Huey. Thank you. Good night, all.
Glad we could do it, guys. Yeah, enjoyed it.
Thanks, Joel.
Time for an ice cream. Time for an ice cream sundae.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.